we're always talking, but I have since learned that talk is therapeutic on its own. And that's why when you see people who go to meet their therapist, what they do is actually talk. It's not about medication on the go. It's about just talking about those issues. And then they try the conflicting emotions, and the therapist will help you just like string all of them together and decipher what it is that is truly wrong, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and otherwise. So yeah, it's therapeutic listening to Nigeria Info, talking about these issues, betting solutions from them, and keeping your fingers crossed, hoping for the best, hoping for the change, hoping for that renewed hope in your country, Nigeria. My name is Kimberly Wachiku. Call me Kim, the Oracle, the digital Oracle. OTF, the fellow Chanyawan, Madam Speaker, and I'll say yes to them all. I get Tokwe is back in town. She's like, Kimo, welcome back. It's been a minute to add Kola Wale Johnson on the show, so I should drag him into the studio one of these days. But I'm super excited that I have Mr. Simon Reef with me here in the studio, and he'll be helping us wade through some of the big stories today. Good afternoon, sir. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, Kimberly. It's good to have the Oracle back on stage, and I'm happy. I'm always excited when I'm
delighted. Somebody asked after, was it last week Friday? Yes, It's been a minute. You had Mr. Reef. What's the matter? Like, no. Everything good, everything dandy. You'll get to hear him pretty soon. So I'm excited that you're able to make it into the studio. Yeah. Looking at the feeling that is coming from the National Assembly as the custom of Representative Committee on Public Affairs when he coughed and he slumped.
The matter is many Nigerians are carrying ailments. They have pressure from work, pressure from family, but immediate and others, and a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
You just see somebody that, okay, let me tell you this particular story. Somebody was just sitting and he had no money. So he remembered that he had given out his money to somebody. So he wanted to go and collect the money. And he insisted that man must give him back his money. He said, I don't have any money. He said, I'll beat the hell out of you. So a friend prevented him from doing that. The next day he was told that guy owing money has passed on.
Oh dear.
Yes. We've had people passing on because
the
pressure is just something else. Men are passing through many things, especially civil servants, public servants.
Wow.
They come under intense pressure. And honestly, it takes the grace of God in times like this. Why? Because there are too many demands. Phones hit you, you had so much alarm messages. Oh, this one is in trouble. So it takes the grace of God to strike forward. And this death is really stalking many Nigerians. Well, we should take it easy. The only thing one need to do is for government, the appeal is on government to do something. People are yet to answer the fundamental question of food, shelter. That is the most important thing. Food, shelter, clothing, of course. Those are the basic things. And that is why when government wastes much time on providing these billions of naira, you are building a house for the vice president, you are building these billions, you ask yourself, have you fed your citizens? Are they okay? They are not. And that is why this idea of minimum wage come into play. People should have, living wages. Things are so bad in this country. So because we are on the downtrodden, the media is always with the downtrodden because we've not always identified with it. We are not rich. We are not wealthy. So we have the keys to the gates of the poor. So it's only sufficiently down on us to ensure that we say it exactly as it is. Because the media has always been the conscience of the society. Yeah.
All right. So it's a gentle reminder to just find a way to taking it easier on yourself. Also, go for medical checks. I don't know how many people can really afford the luxury. I was talking with a friend who told me that the regular checks he usually does that is less than 100 was running into 400,000. And I say, on the average, who can spare 400,000 to just go, just do my blood sugar, cholesterol, and all of that, and then see if I'm okay? And that's not even paying for, just in case they say something is out of whack, you pay for it. That's just to check. How many people can really afford it in a poverty capital? Really?
Not many people.
Yeah, exactly.
Not many people.
Yeah.
Because the poverty level is...
Indeed it is. So it's a reminder to the government of the day to do all they can to alleviate all of the sufferings in the land. We'll say may his soul rest in peace. I don't know, maybe the pressure of the questions they were asking him or the response, or perhaps the night he was awake just putting together some of his report and files must have taken a toll on him also. Really. Oh, wow. All right, let's go into another matter here, and our focus will be on the oil sectors. Now, operators in the downstream oil sector yesterday, called on the federal government to intervene by ensuring the provision of crude oil to the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, as marketers now prefer to buy cheaper imported refined petroleum product than patronizing Dangote Refinery. We're already creating problem even before he starts to refine.
Yes.
However, perhaps they're anticipating it or just creating. They also slammed the international oil companies operating in Nigeria for selling crude oil to Dangote Refinery above the global market price, describing this as anti-country policy. This came as the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria explained that the reason marketers were shunning the diesel and aviation fuel produced by Dangote Refinery was that the products were higher in cost. The national president, Ipman Abubakar Mai Gandhi, stated this while reacting to claims by Dangote Refinery that it has sold about 3.5 billion liters of refined product to Europe and other countries because some marketers in Nigeria were importing dirty fuel into the country. And according to Mai Gandhi, the refusal of the president of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, to collaborate with the Ipman is another factor affecting the $20 billion refinery. It was reported Monday that the Vice President of Oil and Gas at Dangote Refineries, Deva Kumar Edward, had accused international oil companies in Nigeria of plans to frustrate the survival of the new Dangote refinery. And he said the federal government issued 25 licenses for construction of refineries in Nigeria, but so far, only the Dangote Group has delivered on the promise. Out of the 25, Dangote has delivered. Dangote himself did say that there were plans and orchestration from the international oil companies and setting, what did he call them? It wasn't like call them a cabal, he called them mafia.
Mafia.
To actually frustrate.
The oil mafia.
Exactly. And so we're getting more of these coming in. Independent marketers say, oh, yours is expensive, we'd rather import out there. It just feels like there is so much at work against the Dangote refinery. Isn't this the refinery that we've all been waiting with bated breath for us to see it operating? Why is there so much going on already?
Well, thank you very much, Kimberly. It's sad for a nation that is blessed with crude oil, unable to refine fuel for its citizens. All it depends on is simply to export the crude oil and then import olive fuel. Now, if you look at crude oil, there are so many commodities attached, so many products in it. They say there's about 15 or 16 of them. So fuel is only a component of it. And because we don't refine crude internally in Nigeria, there are companies, pharmaceutical, soap, so many things, rubbers, and all those. There are so many
byproducts that can come out of it.
Byproducts that come out from it. All the allied companies for that are no longer in existence. I knew something there was something wrong because you asked the question, if Dangote can sell aviation fuel and diesel, why is it that he cannot sell fuel?
Yeah.
The cabal that control the consumption of fuel in this country are not willing to let go.
Wow.
Because that is where they eat and make their billions of naira. That Nigeria cannot refine its fuel internally is not about incapacity. No. It's a sinister plot deliberately orchestrated by the internal oil mafia to ensure that we remain dependent on fuel exported and not, imported fuel. So that is the reason. And then we've seen Dangote himself coming out last 2 weeks. He granted an interview either to CNN. I read a snippet of it. He said the international oil mafia frustrated him, but somehow he survived.
Yeah.
But the greatest battle he is faced now is with the internal mafia that is very, very vicious. They can go to any extent to ensure that Nigeria remains dependent on fuel imported abroad. Now, when you talk of Ipman, you talk of all these other groups of people, these are shadows. They cast long shadows on the nation's incapacity to meet its fuel requirement. It's cheaper to bring this fuel abroad and sell and make money. Because what they are giving us is dirty fuel. It's a fuel that once you put it within some few minutes, it's dried up. It has a bad effect on your engine. A lot of things happen. They are just bad things. The fuel they send to this country, they cannot take it to the UK or USA or other developed countries. But it's only in Nigeria where there are no standards, where the standards are not adhered to.
But standards that are being
manipulated by a very group. That is when they allow this bad fuel to come in. So I foresee a situation where Dangote refinery will continue to be frustrated, and that where there is hope is if government stands up and assist him and say, no, this must not happen. For Dangote refinery to import crude oil, when we have so much of it are being stolen, there's a problem. And the refinery cannot answer that problem, it cannot resolve that problem. It is the Nigerian government, elected by the people, to insist on what must be done to combat these long decades of hardship associated with the refining of petroleum products. So as far as I'm concerned, we'll continue to have that.
Well, there's just for me a lot going on as to how much is sold to him, the crude oil within Nigeria by these IOCs, and why his cost is even higher than the one. But like you pointed out, if the one coming from out there isn't of premium quality, because what we should be getting is premium motor spirit.
Yes.
And if we're not getting premium, and someone is refining premium back home, it means that something cheaper is coming in.
Yes.
And knocking off premium from the market. And possibly the overall cost of production also, because that's something we don't really look at. Production within the walls of Nigeria can make something shoot off the roof altogether. So you said the government has to wade in.
The government has to wade in.
In what way? Beyond saying, let's ensure that our Port Harcourt refinery is up and running.
See, the Port Harcourt refinery, the refinery in Port Harcourt will only start momentarily and stop, because there will always be internal sabotage. People are not interested. Cabal that does not want fuel to get to me and Kimberly at a very lower price will ensure that does not work. But if the presidency wants today, they will sit down and say, hey, this oil belongs to the Nigerian people. They are not for foreigners. Dangote, we want to take so 1,000 every day, refine it for internal consumption. And some people say, hey, government has no business in business. If government has no business in business, then I can tell you, government has no business in power. You go and privatize power itself. Let the political, let them come and buy it and then take charge. But the truth of the matter is that government must have a business in business, because we are interested in the welfare of the people. And that is why you go to the US, you go to the UK, billions and billions of pounds and dollars are appropriated for energy sector, medical sector, agri sector. So if you are saying it is business, it's not all about profit. It's about taking into cognizance the welfare of the masses, the welfare of the people. And Nigeria being the headquarters, the global headquarters of poverty, you should take that. We are the global headquarters of poverty. Many poor people, the world's poor people, are resident in Nigeria. So government must do something by ensuring that Dangote refinery have access to crude. Because if it does not have access to crude, then the imperative will be go outside and import it from the US. And they have so far refined 3.5 billion liters. And 90% of that has been exported. Because if you are taking something to the US, it is not something of low quality. It must meet standards. if you see the oil we get here in this country, it's something else. It's bad oil. It's bad fuel.
Now, are we going? I know that yes, we've had pockets of report of very adulterated poor fuel coming in every now and again. There was one season actually shortly after the lockdown that some vehicles engine knocked. But is it possible that consistently, repeatedly, we're getting low quality, bad, non-premium oil in Nigeria, and the relevant authorities are not doing anything about it?
I will tell you something. There's a story that happened some 4 or 5 years ago. It was before the privatization of NEPA. When people are sent to go and buy transformers, somebody went there and they gave him a quotation he felt was so high. He said, no, this one is too costly now. So as he was coming out, he just saw a massive transformer, just like they were dumped. He said, come, what about this one? They said, no, that this one has been used and they just dumped them. He said, but can't they just rework them and rejig them? They said, yes, they can do that for him. He bought it less than 20% of the cost. See, most of these things they bring in the name of transformers, they are not new. There was administration in this FCT. They brought buses. After 1 year, 2 years, the bus were packing up. So ask yourself, you bought a brand new vehicle, and within 1 year, 2 years is packed up. There is something fundamental. There is something fishy. All they do is just repaint it, change the chairs, and that's what you have. So what I am telling you is that what is happening in the oil sector is the same thing. They would rather go for a very, bad oil that will cost nothing.
Bad or lower quality.
Lowest quality, and make sure that they make their money. Whether you like it or not, that is what has been happening. And Dangote will not involve himself in such things. So for government, what government needs to do is to ensure that they allow him access to the crude and then tell him, this is what we want. We are ready to give you at a lower price. There is nothing wrong. The oil belongs to the Nigerian people. And that is why, because of the high cost of fuel, workers cannot go to work. Most of the civil servants go to work twice a week, thrice a week at most. So what are you trying to say? What are you trying to gain? So what one is saying here.
But how can government, I'm also looking at the fact that yes, government does have a stake in all of this. We know that it's primarily run by the International Oil Company, the extraction of the crude and all of that. We have a stake, we have some percentage in it as per the oil, our land and all of that, and the government. But can you categorically say to them that you can't sell to this man at setting price? He needs to be let lower. Are we calling for a subsidy of some sort? Because I'm really trying to understand how the government can come in to salvage the situation here. Because that's actually what Dangote is calling for.
Let me tell you one thing. The operation of the oil sector in Nigeria is opaque. It is, no one understands. Even the government that claims to be running it, they don't even understand it. If at this stage, we don't even know the quantity of crude we extract from the ground every day. We don't even know. It's just by estimate. But go to Saudi Arabia, every drop of their crude is monitored. If it's a drop, if it is 1 liter, if it's 1 barrel. But in Nigeria, we don't have it. So the NNPC, the crude sector, the crude oil sector is just a place where you have a big supermarket. You now call someone to come and take charge. At the end of the month, he said, sir, this is how much we have sold. This is what the quantity is. You don't even have the capacity to measure anything. And Nigerians are doing that because they are benefiting. And that's why the greatest enemies of Nigeria are Nigerians. They are. I just got frightened yesterday when the Sultan said that banditry can't be tackled until in decades. It's decades. It's there on papers. Do you understand?
One of our stories.
So why should people be happy to allow such an heinous crime against humanity to continue? It's because you and I, Nigerians, have decided to endorse it. And why are we endorsing it? Money. And that's why I've always told you, when you have a nation that has enthroned materialism as its focus, that country will go nowhere. And that is what we are experiencing here in this country. The love of money has killed everything. Many Nigerians, most Nigerians, when they complain, is because they don't have an opportunity. Put them there, they will be worst. Yes, that is the truth, whether we like it or not. So we can come here, make the noise, scream here, and whatever. The best way you can know is to go, don't join them. If you join government, Kimberly, I don't want to join government.
But then if we say don't join them, that means you're saying leave the space for people you perceive to be wolves.
No,
and then you don't have people to.
No, there are people.
I feel like that's what politicians say. They will tell you it's a dirty game to keep you off.
It's not a dirty game. There are people there that are doing their best.
Mm-hmm.
What we need to do is to continue with the advocacy. Is to continue drumming in the ears of Nigeria to get the need to identify with politicians that are for the good. If you go to Zulu, if you go to Borno State, you see the governor is doing his best. You know that the man is doing his best.
Yeah.
He's taking his heart out. There are some governors that say, hey, let's stand up. Let's stand up for the people. So we in the media need to continue with that advocacy. Push and push. We may not see a better Nigeria in our day. No. We may not see it. But it's only like to do our best and ensure that things are done the right way. But as it stands today, the very few that are doing their best cannot overwhelm the bad ones. Yesterday, you read of some politicians that have houses, estates in Dubai.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong having estate in Dubai. But what is their source of income? That's the most important thing. Most of them have been in offices. See, when you look at the history of millionaires and billionaires in Nigeria, they made their money through the assistance of those in the corridors of power. And that is wrong. What happens to the poor? You sit down every day, you are always thinking of civil servant, public servant, this and that. A population that is less than 20 million. What about the others that are 20 million? 200?
200.
What are you doing with them?
Oh, okay.
Are they not a part of Nigeria? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So what I'm saying here is that no nation develops without the citizenry standing up.
All right.
And insisting on government to do what they need to do in order to improve their lives.
All right. So
yes.
How do the standing up with this Dangote refineries? I bet the average Nigerians just want to get affordable fuel.
Simple.
And you want to be sure that if it's called PMS, Premium Motor Spirit, that you're getting premium quality and not somebody working in cahoots with a group of people to make millions of dollars off of us to the detriment of our vehicles and our sanity. So we'll get to see. You said the federal government should wade in. We'll get to see the level of intervention that will come from them. There's been a lot of intervention towards Dangote refinery. At one point, Nigerians were asking, the investment in this guy's refinery for more quarters is just, we could have channeled it into our own refinery because this is a private business, not ours. And it's left for us to actually see when the Port Harcourt refinery, nobody's giving us any date or timeline. At least Dangote has said by mid-July, they will start refining petrol, that because of saboteurs, they had to move the date even further. So it's almost coming together and making it very believable that they actually have some mafias in the PMS industry subsector to ensure that we're always held at ransom.
Yes.
Because for that aspect of refinery not to be in effect, starting off with the diesel and the others, and then it keeps moving the goalposts. Like we're moving the goalposts around our refineries also. It's almost believable at this point that they're mafians, people who really do not want it to happen, who are frustrating the process. But who are they? Are they in the corridors of power? Are they in the government? Are they some people in the organized private sector? Are they foreigners? Or is a collection of, because, sir, the thing is, we've gone on for too long as a country to blame it on faceless people.
No, yes.
From the presidency, they will tell you there's a cabal has hijacked the presidency. We heard tons of it in the last administration. Jonathan talked about it. Buhari talked about it. We talk about the power sector. They will tell you, oh, it's a cabal. The people who import generator, the people who do this do not want us to see electricity. We're talking about petrol. And then you're telling us there's also a cabal. Like, at one point, you tend to get frustrated as a citizen of the country where a lot of things are not working and not coming to. This cabal, what about them?
Okay, let me say something here. I spoke to somebody this morning, and he told me the hardship in Nigeria has driven him to say something that the only hopes he has now is death.
And that's very green.
No.
It can't be. It can't.
Do you understand?
It cannot be the only hope.
Whatever is that he will simply survive and wait for his time to just move on. I mean, that is to tell you that things. A custom officer slumped and passed on. Custom officer, deputy controller. That's a big this thing. The money they earn. So even the people that have money, they are finding it very, very hard. They talk about people that cannot even eat. Let me tell you, the best way to do this is that they've not involved workers in dealing with the issue of the oil issue. You have thousands of workers working in these refineries. In the last 10 years, they've not refined 1 liter. But you send them on foreign travels for training. You pay their allowances. And most of them are paid as if you are paying them ransom. When you compare with the meager salary you pay to the public sector workers. Every year in, year out, they get their promotion to the next step. See, maybe the major problem that is sabotaging Port Harcourt, Kaduna, is just a knot. Somebody will just go and lose one knot and bring a problem. Now, if you get these workers and tell them, if this thing does not this thing, you people are going. I am telling you, Kimberly, within 3 weeks, they will sort out the issue. But you allow them to go. They are even part of the problem. As long as they are collecting their fat money, see, they pay huge sum of money to them.
Okay.
And except you try to get them involved and threaten them and say, if things does not work, let's collapse it. Let's collapse it. Dangote can refine oil, can refine fuel for our local consumption. So it is high time government takes this thing serious. There is nothing faceless. We all know them.
I don't know.
We all know them. We all know them. The workers are there. They know who are the people bringing problem. So put a focus on that. And that's why I expected the NLC. We've suffered for too long. We are complaining, hey, this was, but there are people sitting down doing nothing in the last 10 years, and they are being paid. And when I mean being paid, real payment.
Serious money. Yeah.
Not all these 5,000, 10,000 that people are screaming. They are getting millions upon millions, hundreds of millions every year.
All right.
Yes.
Let's get some response, feedback from the topic we've looked at. We've got others to look at. And Ario Joshua Tosin says, waiting they pain me say we can talk, but there's little implementation. We also have people that have the sense to make things work, but nothing happens. You're on point, sir. Chijoke Azubike says, my question is, are these saboteurs, are they ghosts? Why can't government go after them? I smell foul play here. Lorena Andrade, okay, it's a lot better now without the headphone, yeah? All right, that is good to know. And let's look at WhatsApp messages also quickly. Good afternoon to Kim and our guest, Mohamed Musa from Garki. I'm not an economist, but from what I've concluded from my own logical reasoning, I've always said to people, refinery cannot determine the price of PMS. And now with what surrounds Dangote, I feel I've been vindicated. Economic terminologies are only disparaging, he said. Good afternoon to our guest. I would want to believe some people do not want Nigeria to work. So do everything to frustrate efforts to make Nigeria project work. And I also share the opinion of your guest. Government needs to protect Nigeria's project. Oludade Abiodun's 2 cents there. Good afternoon, Kimberly, and to our guest in the studio. The oil mafias are in the government itself. So which government are we talking about? The people can go to any length to frustrate the growth and development of Nigeria. The same people, mafia, have not allowed any of the 4 refineries we have to work. Kim, government knows what's going on, but I bet you they can't do anything because he says they are involved. The oil mafias are in the government, he said. Food for thought. We may not see a better day in our time. Kai, sad, sad reality. Good afternoon. Let's not see petroleum issue in Nigeria as that difficult to handle. Can anybody tell me who is more powerful than the president of Nigeria? What can he not do? Anything the president wants, consider it done. There is no cabal anywhere. The government is the cabal and the president is the head. Okay, being the petroleum minister, I see. I blame the president squarely because everything starts and ends on his desk. If we say we don't know the amount of crude produced, that's not true. The people that handle that sector, they know very well, but refuse to disclose to the general public. OGB1. Kim, it's the same thing everywhere. Look at gold. Nothing is happening from there, but do you know how much gold leaves the country? When we're ready, we would know. All right, then. Let's take 2 calls and we'll get to the next story. Hello. Good afternoon.
Very good afternoon, Kimberly. How are you?
I'm fine and well. Go ahead.
You're on to Samino calling you from Live Camp. It's raining here heavily.
Yeah, Samino. All right. Hope you're not driving, though.
No, I'm not.
All right, then. Go ahead.
Yeah. Very good afternoon to you. I guess he has spoken very well. Let me buttress his point, what he's talking about. Some years back, I was in Kaduna. Go and check out who are the people that the PHCN was sold to. A friend of mine took me to a transmission station. That is where he took me. I was surprised to see that is in Mando. If they want to make money, just matter, just like the way August said, you just said, to move a note. They will write a letter, SOS, we need 500 million. Within the next 2 weeks, if nothing is done, the whole system will collapse. I'm sure you will agree with me. There is a cabal. Yes, we have enemies within and enemies outside. Nigeria is a country that is too poor to be rich and too rich to be poor. The problem is this, to me, as far as I'm concerned, we don't have strong institutions. We only have strong individuals. We are not proactive, but reactive.
All right.
We need to have the political will. The Nigerians need to know who